Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for joining today's Inspire podcast. I'm joined by a truly inspirational couple who is really building out the American dream. And what they've done is truly remarkable in so many different ways. And so I'm so excited to welcome my great friends, Rodolfo and Cecilia Vargas, to the Integrity Inspire podcast. They have an incredible business called We the People, and I can't wait for you to hear that backstory about why they named it We the People, but what they're building is truly unique. So thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited. We've partnered with some amazing people. We've partnered with some great success stories, especially about the American dream. And as I think about you guys and what you've built, it's truly remarkable. And it's a testament to the American dream. Now, you guys came here from El Salvador. So let's talk about that first. And then I want to go into a lot of different things.
Well, thank you. Well, we're excited to be part of Integrity. I'm telling you, we're super excited. Yesterday, we couldn't sleep because we're coming over here. And we're excited to see you. And the stories with you and Patrick are amazing. But yeah, we're from El Salvador. We grew up there. We met each other when we were in high school. I was going through some difficulties, right, with my family. My dad lost his job. He came to the U.S. He had the opportunity to come to the U.S. My dad, my mom, and my brother and my two sisters. And I stayed there for a little bit, finishing my career. I'm an economist, says he's an architect. And one day, I call my dad. My dad lost his job, also over here in the U.S.
Oh, man.
So my dad, it was kind of difficult for me over there in El Salvador. So I called my dad. You think there is a place for me to go to the United States? My dad said, yeah, come. And I come. I don't speak English at that time.
No English at all.
No English. Well, I thought I knew English.
That's the funny part. That we think we went to 4-year degree of English over there. You come here, it's Chinese to us.
You don't understand anything.
It's kind of like I took Spanish in high school. I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic area, and I can't speak English. I can't speak English either, and I can't speak Spanish that well.
That's exactly what happened.
So we come here, and I remember I was so excited. I'm coming to the U.S. I'm the American dream, right? And I told Mom, I need to find a job. I need to work, or maybe I can go to university, because we're in Los Angeles. This is you have UCLA, you have USC, and I'm an economist. And my mom says, listen, son, reality is you're not gonna go to school. You need to find a job. And your brother's going to go to school. He's very smart, not you. And you need to find a job. So I got hired by Sears. And if you get to know me, people look at me and say, oh my, what do you used to do at Sears? And I tell them, well, I'm a security guard at Sears. It makes no sense with my size. I'm probably 5'7" on a good day. and that's what I used to do. And then Ceci joined me years later because I came in 2006.
I came 2010.
She came 2010, we got married, and we started in the insurance industry.
So you were an economist in El Salvador, and you were an architect.
I was an architect.
I guess you're still an architect.
I am in El Salvador.
El Salvador.
I have just completed my 5-year degree as an architect.
Wow.
So we met in high school, and love of my life. And he tells me, we're going to move to the United States. We're going to get married. I tell my dad is a doctor. He says, no. If you go, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. He stopped talking to me for 3 months just because we decided that we're going to move here. So, but the story that I want to tell you is that he says, well, if you're going to go over there, your degree is not going to worth much. But I wanted to finish school. So I finished the school. I come here to the States. I was shocked to find out that all of those 5 years that I finished school were worth nothing when I got here.
Oh my gosh.
And I need to start from scratch. So I couldn't find a job because I didn't speak English. And that's how everything started.
So what did you do when you moved here?
So Rodolfo was already doing PHP. He had already started the life insurance. So I said, I'm going to just help you out. In my mind, I kept on thinking for the first year or so, I'm going to go back to be an architect. But then when I saw what we were doing for families, I fell in love with the industry.
Yeah. So I also heard that one of the reasons you wanted to come to America is you had gotten robbed
Yeah.
in El Salvador,
Yeah.
right? And then you became a security guard. so what happened there? Man?
I'm coming out of the gym. I'm an exercise. I'm getting out of the gym, and that has never happened to me. Like, has never happened to me. Like, people say El Salvador is dangerous or anything like that. That has never ever happened to me. And I'm coming out of the gym, and somebody put the gun. They say, and I don't. I heard the stories before. But here's the weird part. The guy talked to me. You know, he had a conversation with me. He's like, I know who you are. I know where you live.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't pay me rent, because over there you pay rent to the gang members. If you don't pay me rent, they used to, not anymore.
That's not the case anymore.
That's not the case anymore. It has never happened to me. I was like
And what is rent like? What does that mean?
Rent is you needed to pay. You needed to pay them to
like every month.
Every month, like rent, but you're paying like if you're a business, or you need to pay to leave. If not, you're gone, and or they kidnap you or something like that. They call it rent. We call it rent over there. You're paying rent to the gang members. They do that. So I said, oh no, I cannot do this. And it has never happened to me. I thought for my entire life I was gonna live there, and it has never happened to me. So the next day I called my dad. Dad, is there a room for me there? And here's the story. I thought my parents were doing very good. I thought my parents are like doing very good, because I'm over there in El Salvador, and my parents are always helping me, like maybe sending me some Nike shoes, some Nike shirts, and some money. So my parents are doing okay. And I came here and I find out like 12 to 14 people living in a small house, like a small two bedroom home with a lot of people there. And I said, oh my God, this is not okay. That's when I came over here that I realized, no, I need to work. I need to do something.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So 12 to 14 people living in a 2-bedroom home.
Yeah.
What was like the sleeping arrangement? How did that work?
One restroom, one bathroom for everybody.
So
at that time, like I remember,
you better learn to get along.
You needed to wake up super early. You need to wake up super early if you wanted to take a shower.
Yeah.
And I was and that cannot be possible. Then I started working, right? And we need to work with the family. We need to do something for the family. My mom and my dad, so we came back. We're not dating with Ceci when I came. That's a different story.
You skipped that part. You want me to tell you
my
side of the story? You want to hear my side of the story? So we're getting into this argument, very, very Pacific argument, okay? That he's coming to the States and I'm staying over there. Are we getting married? My parents don't want to. And we're getting into this huge fight. And we break up. So one day, 6 weeks later, something like that, after we broke up, I call, his phone is disconnected. His house, though somebody else lives over there. I'm like, where did this guy went? So he moved to the States. He moved to the United States without telling me.
What?
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
What was your thought? You get on a plane, you're like, I probably should call somebody.
So we broke up. Really
After
bad.
a 4-year relationship.
So we're not dating. This is over. We're done with this. And so I left, and I don't tell her.
Why didn't you tell him?
Because this Hispanic relationship is like it's a lot of fire. You know what I mean? Have you watched soap operas? There's a lot of passion there. So
the whole thing, I burned all the pictures after that happened.
You were done.
Done.
Can you imagine we dated since we were in high school? We have no pictures because that was the event where I did a bonfire, with all my friends.
We're supposed to have pictures and letters. We don't have anything, any gift.
Yeah,
so
I burned it all.
I came and
call your grandmother and get like a spell, like
yeah,
hello,
something like that. Yes.
hello.
No, we did that. And our family didn't like me at all.
I wouldn't either.
Exactly right. He's like, can you
I wonder why.
Everybody was against it.
Everybody wonders why.
Anyway, so I came and we're here. I'm getting my things together. Then I took a vacation to go to El Salvador, and that was maybe a year later. Not a vacation. I needed to go and pick up some stuff that I left. So I go there.
Like her?
And I'm going to stay there for a couple of days. Pick up some things. And for the entire time that I'm visiting, all my friends tells me, don't call her, because they know I'm going to call her. So I don't call her until the last day, the day before coming, right? And I said, you know what, and my friends that are there, and I said, I'm gonna call her, because my test is if I see her and I don't feel anything, I'm good. You know what, I can live and I'm never gonna see her anymore. So I call her. And then I call her and she said, hey, let's go have dinner, let's meet. I just want to say bye to you. I didn't say bye to you.
Because I forgot a year ago.
I want to see you. And she says, okay. So we meet.
Wow.
And guess what? We came back. we came back
together.
And we dated for a couple years.
Did you come back to, back to the U.S. then? Or?
No.
No, we started dating just right away, just over long distance.
Long
we
distance.
did the whole prepaid card, all of that. Skype.
Skype back in the day.
We did Skype, losing connection, all of that.
Yeah, I remember all the time. I'm having trauma with that. So we came back, and on one of those, we're dating. So, she couldn't come, so I'm going there. So I'm working. All I'm working is to go visit her. So one day I go visit her, and my mom called me, and my mom says, I'm in El Salvador because I'm visiting her.
I remember that call vividly.
It's on a Sunday.
Yesterday.
We're watching the movie. I'm leaving the next day. So this is Sunday night. We're watching a movie. The next day, I'm flying back to the U.S. My mom called me, yelling, Rodolfo, you have no idea what just happened. What happened, Mom? I went to this meeting, and you have to do this. I went to this meeting. It's awesome. And I said, Mom, what is it about? What is it about? It's the business of the century. This is your business. You have to do this. I said, what is it, Mom? What is it? And my mom, I'm not going to tell you anything. You need to come. You need to come. And but you're going to be good at it. Okay. Guess what? My mom and my dad went to a meeting. And they went to a meeting where Patrick Bet-David was doing a meeting.
Oh, my gosh.
And they heard the meeting. So they got excited. But they said, it's not for me. We're not going to do this. Even my mom told me, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. So I'm excited because my mom and my dad called me that they went to a meeting. It's not for them, but they want me to do it. So I came home. I came to the U.S. And my mom says, listen, son, I'm not going to do this. I pay whatever they have to pay for the lights, whatever. I say, I want my money back, my mom said. So my mom says, I want my money back. But here's the money. She gives me the money and to go get my licenses. You go there, they're going to ask you to do this. Just go pay them and get your license. You're going to do this. I go to the event. I go to the meeting. And
this was Patrick's office when it was
in
Northridge.
California.
Very, 60 people or something.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
small office and everything.
It was for me, it was a big office, right?
Yeah.
And I go there and everybody's excited. And I call Ceci, this is going to be the business of our life. We're going to do this. And I call her. And then that's the way that I got started.
What was it that Patrick said at that meeting that made you go, I can do this?
So it was more than what he said, because remember, I don't understand fully what he's saying.
Yeah.
But you should have seen the energy. You should have seen Patrick, and Patrick has these big eyes and he's looking at you. I remember the first time that they introduced me to Patrick. And I'm there, I'm going to the meeting, and they introduced me, this Patrick Bet-David, and he looked at me like I don't understand anything, but there was a way for him telling me, yeah, you can do this. You can do this. But here's one thing that I remember. I go to this meeting, and this blew my mind. And I'm in a meeting, and Patrick said, you see that guy over there? And everybody, the group, right? You see that guy over there? Sir, can you please stand up? The guy stand up, right? You see that guy? He used to work in 99-cent store. That's my dad. He had 17 heart attacks, and I retired my dad. I listened to that story, and I'm over there. I want to do that for my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do that. It was, yes, I like the money. Yes, I like the business. But when he said that story, I never heard that before. I never seen anybody do that.
Yeah.
And guess what? I have my dad next to me. Because my dad and I, we used to go to the meetings together. And because my dad got the license too. So imagine if I don't speak English, imagine my dad. And I'm translating to my dad whatever they're saying over there in the meeting. So it changed my life. Until now, I remember. So when Patrick announced that was his dad, And he was almost about to die, and he retired him. And since him retired his dad, he never had a heart attack, touched my heart. And I knew that was real.
Wow. So for those of you guys who may not know, so Patrick Bet-David founded PHP, People Helping People. It's one of the most successful partnerships we have. We're so honored to be partners with Patrick. And then it's amazing the life story because he came from Iran and his dad was a successful executive in Iran and then came here. His dad is one of the nicest, most proud humans I've ever met for his son and for what you guys have all built. I just love Mr. Bet-David, but it's amazing that you went to a meeting. I started out my career, I was working at Eddie Bauer in the mall, and you've heard me tell this story. I hated it, man. The main thing I liked about it is I could go eat at Chick-fil-A, because back then Chick-fil-A was only in the mall. And then I would eat at Chick-fil-A, and I was making $5.10 an hour. And I remember eating at Chick-fil-A one day, and it was like $5.35 or something. I was like, man, that just cost me an hour to eat this sandwich. I'm not going to eat Chick-fil-A anymore. So I literally was like, I can't eat Chick-fil-A because I don't want to cost myself an hour. And this guy named Gary Adcock came in, and we kind of hit it off. He was dressed like you, super sharp dressed, and just likable. And he was like, you seem to like people. You should come and work with me sometime. I was like, what do you do? And he was like talking about insurance. I was like, man, I'm going to college. It's not in my plan. But man, thank God that there's people like that told me as a college kid in 1997 or whatever that was, like there's this opportunity. And thank God your mom and your dad went to that meeting to tell you about this opportunity. And think about all the lives that you guys have just helped in so many different ways. I was at PHP's annual conference in Vegas, and was that in July, I think? July or August?
Yes.
Yep.
And it was, we've spent a lot of time together, but that event reminds me about why we do what we do. Because we help so many people with their life and health and wealth planning. And you can see that when, my parents are customers and they've recently gone through some health stuff, and just like being there and you're like, man, what we do really matters. But also being at an event where you hear people's stories about life change, about being in this industry. And this is one of the most noble industries that exist. I truly believe that. And there's so many people that not only need our help with the products we have, but with the opportunity we have as well. And one of the things that I loved at that event is seeing you guys get up. So when you started with Pat, he had like 60, 65 people, right? I mean,
Yes.
and I heard you tell that story. Like you guys were talking about we're one of the first ones. So you've seen like this huge trajectory, like this change. And then being in Vegas, there were like 17,000 people. And the reason there weren't more is because you couldn't fit more in there.
Yes.
Like there was like fire code,
Yes.
17,000 people. And I remember you guys getting up on stage, and your company's name is We the People. And you guys got up on stage and cheered, "We the people, we the people." And thousands of their agents that work with them every day, their partners, are cheering, "We the people." Dude, it was so much fun. So when I got up on stage, I cheered it. I was like, I got to talk, and I was like, "We the people," man, because those are my people. I mean, it's amazing to see the culture you guys have built. Why did you guys call it We the People?
It's a good story because we're starting the business.
Yeah.
So this is July of 2010, and this is 1 week before getting married. So PHP got started in 2009, and this is next year, July of 2010. Patrick says, we're going to Washington, D.C. I believe that the team and the people over here, they need to know the history of this country, especially you, Vargas, because you're an immigrant. So you need to learn how to love the country. You're not from here, so you need to love this place. And I said, I'm not going. And I have a valid reason why not to go. I'm not going. He said, why are you not going? I'm getting married July 17, and I don't have money. So he says, no, you're going. July 4th, we're going to go to Washington, D.C. We're going with
Wow,
a group
y'all
of
went on
people.
July 4th.
Yes, we saw the fireworks.
Talk about Americana.
Oh my gosh.
But you know what is crazy about that story is that we truly, like when we started PHP, we really came from nothing. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have contacts, we didn't know people. Like he was like just making it just because he had a dream, right?
It's
It was
all
just
dream.
like it was all dream at that time, and we're getting married, and he's like, I'm gonna go to a trip, so there's not gonna be a honeymoon because I have to pay for this airfare and hotel.
So I called Ceci, hey, listen, we're going to get married on July 17th. Just letting you know that we're not going to have a honeymoon.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a honeymoon. So I go, but at that time we were not married. Ceci was in El Salvador. So I go to Washington, D.C. So I took the trip very serious. Okay. So I said, you know what? Really need to, if I'm going to come over here, I need to learn about the history of the country. So Patrick recommended me these books. Read the Constitution. He recommended me a couple of books. So I started reading them. And the name "We the People," that's the Constitution. And I started finding out what was "We the People." How is this country was being founded? Why was founded on these principles and values and God and all this stuff that I didn't know. So, and I came back. I got married. No honeymoon. And when Ceci came back, we're doing the business. And one day we're driving. And that day we didn't decide to put the name. When I went to Washington D.C., one day we're driving. And we're building a team. We have a small team, and I saw this team with names, right? And we don't have a name.
Yeah.
And one day we're driving with Ceci. We say, you know what? We got it. We're gonna name our team "We the People," just like the Constitution. And I got the chills just saying that.
Man.
And until
I did
now,
too. Yeah,
and
that's
until now,
amazing.
we have named our team like that, "We the People Agency."
Man, what a great story. What is it about, you were talking about you didn't have any contacts. You didn't really know even about the business that you're getting. I mean, look, I remember showing up at a motel. It wasn't a hotel. I showed up to go meet this guy at a motel. And he handed me off to this manager guy. So this guy's like super sharp that recruits me. And then he hands me off to this manager guy named Terry. Wasn't sharp. And so then Terry's like, we sat on the bed of this motel and we're like cold calling people. And then he's like, this doesn't work. Let's go door knock. So then we just start door knocking. I'm like, what did I just get into? Like, I hated folding shirts at Eddie Bauer, but I really hated the door knocking part. But so you're just like, what is this business we're in? So what was it about the business that you fell in love with? And then you had no contacts, you had no team, but how did you take that passion for the business and then recruit such an incredible team that literally chants your company's name when you go on stage? I mean, just think about the culture. Like you walk on stage and everybody's like, "We the people."
Ceci has her stories on the way that we get clients. I mean, one day, we have nothing going on in our business.
Yeah.
Nothing. We don't have sales. We don't have nothing. We haven't sold anything. It's only her and I. We're living in this apartment. We're paying about $600 a month in California for our apartment, the place that we live. And
This is 12 years ago. Like,
Yes.
It's probably not apartments in California. It's $600
no,
in
that doesn't exist anymore. So we're like, we don't know what to do. So I said, you know what? I have an idea. Why don't we go knock on doors on salons? Because in the salons, you have a lot of stations, right? So if you get one, you can get all of them. So we go to...
And were you recruiting people or were you trying to sell policies?
We trying to do...
Whatever you
we
could.
try to do whatever we can, okay?
Well, but this is, you're going to tell the stories, right?
Yeah, but
Okay, okay. So I didn't know if that's the one that we were
Yes.
going to say. So we walk into this salon and there's this lady selling fajas out of the back of her trunk.
What?
So a faja is like for Hispanic ladies, it's you wrap it around your
okay, yeah.
belly. So she's like just out of her trunk, just selling fajas outside of the hair salon. So we talked to her, you invite her to the office, we ended up recruiting her.
Yeah.
And she was actually licensed already. She didn't want to do insurance anymore, but when she comes and she sees the PHP system, because that's what I was going to mention to you, that we had no contacts, but the system that PHP put in place and that we put in place as We the People, it teaches you how you can build the business from scratch, start creating contacts off of referrals. So we meet this lady, she comes on board, She puts her license with PHP. We go do trainings with her. She buys a policy. Then she goes and starts prospecting people, and she meets this guy and end up getting married to this guy, okay? So then this is when I really understood the passion of what we do. So she gets married to this guy who was a truck driver. They come on board, he buys a policy. 2 months later, he passes away.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't believe it. It was just like mind-blowing. And the company paid the death benefit. And we pay a death benefit to his daughter that had just started college. The money he left, the daughter is coming to the office to pick up the check because Rodolfo asked if they can mail the check so we can give it. He wanted to meet the family. And we give the check to this girl and it was just crazy. It was mind-blowing that she was crying, saying, thank you so much because now I'm going to be able to finish college.
Oh my God.
My dad, I can believe my dad thought of me with that much love that he left me the gift to be able to go to college. That moment, the business went from my head to my heart.
Yeah.
And it became so hard for people to say no whenever we will sit down with somebody and for people to say, I don't need life insurance. And it happened so early in our career, and it was so vivid for us that it became the second nature for us to be crusaders of the life insurance industry.
Man, it's amazing what we get to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's amazing that if you've been in this business for any time, you have those stories. And those stories, when you think about like, oh man, I'm tired, I'm whatever, you think back to that family and think about the impact that you were able to have and her dad was able to have just by making that conscious decision. And then you think about like, oh man, I want everybody to have this. It's one of those things, just like, you know about it. It's kind of like my passion with integrity. It's like we have the greatest business model in the world. We've got the greatest partnership. I want everybody to be part of it because I truly believe that if we can get more people who are passionate about serving others, and we can change the world. And that's Patrick and I were just talking about this, how big of an impact we can all have in so many different ways. And it's just that amazing thing. And thank God we're in this country where you can actually do this and do it at scale. And it's been amazing to watch how well you guys have taken that, and then the passion that you guys have. I mean, seeing y'all on stage in front of so many people and just proclaiming truth about like, this is the greatest business in the world. Let me tell you about this. And that's what attracts so many people to you. Like, what are you guys most excited about now that Integrity's part of the family and what we're able to do together?
We were in Monaco, and Patrick let us know about the partnership with Integrity. We were so excited because I think there is no better company to be partnering than Integrity. Powerhouse in the industry. And honestly, we have a vision, right? We want to do something, and we want to do something big. People say, how many years are you going to work? I don't know if I want to say forever, but the way that I teach, the way that I tell people is, listen, we have a vision, and we want to do it. We want to help thousands of people to get involved in this industry. We want to help thousands of people to be able to achieve financial independence, whether it's by doing the business or by getting a policy. But here's the way that I was explaining to the team about our vision and what I believe we're going to be able to do with Integrity. I don't believe that, how people think, oh, we have a lot of time. How people say, oh yeah, we're going to do it. When? Forever. Or we're going to do many, many years. There was a baptism of my son last week.
Oh, congrats.
And, thank you.
That's awesome.
And it was my best friend from El Salvador. He came. And it's my dad and it's me. So we're the three of us were talking. And I'm telling him about the vision that we want to accomplish. And my friend, out of nowhere, started telling the story about when his dad passed. So he started telling the story. His dad passed when he was like 12 years old. So he's my very close friend for many, many years. So here's telling the story when his dad passed. And he's telling that story in front of my dad. So he's telling the story, I remember my dad, he did that. Now he's not here with me, but I want to be good, I want to do good, and I want to accomplish something. His vision, right, that we wanted to do. When he started telling the story, guess what I started looking? I started looking at my dad.
Yeah.
And I look at my dad, and he's 71. He's walking different now. He's not what he used to be, right? He walking different. He talks different. He talks a little bit slower.
Yeah.
He wants to spend time with my kids. But in my mind is, I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, I have this big vision in my dad is not going to be there forever. Well, I don't think that we're going to be here forever. I don't think that we're going to be here for a long time. So we need to accomplish this vision as fast as we can. So when Patrick announced the partnership with Integrity, I said, oh my gosh, this vision is going to be accomplished faster than what I thought. Then all these big dreams that we have, we're going to be able to do it. And Patrick has a big vision, and I think that is going to be accomplished with Integrity.
I love that in so many different ways. I love the last two words you said about that. When you talk about that vision will be accomplished with integrity, there's power in that name, integrity, and that's one of the reasons we named it that. But if you can live your life with integrity, you can accomplish anything you want. And you're talking about your dad. You know, my dad was actually just in the hospital. In fact, he's still been in the hospital for a while. So I'm 48. I know I look a lot younger. And, I don't know why that was so funny. No, look, I'm 48. My dad's 78, so 30 years older. And I was at the hospital the other night with my dad, and man, it's hard because my dad was always the strongest guy in the world, always like could do anything, and now, man, it's just changed fast. Where you're just like, how, like, and my mom and I were talking. She was like, man, this is changing way faster than I thought it would. And it reminded me of that Tim McGraw song where he talks about my next 30 years. You know, I don't know if you know that song where it talks about in my next 30 years, I'm going to do all these different things. And then Charlie Munger just died, Warren Buffett's partner.
Yeah.
And one of the things they asked him on a CNBC interview, they said, what is the greatest advice you can give to somebody? And he said, I encourage you to write your obituary and then live your life to where you can accomplish that. And I was like, and then being with my dad and thinking like, man, you're not going to live forever. You know, people ask me like, how long are you going to do this? You know, first of all, I think as long as I can serve other people, and frankly, I've read the Bible a lot. I can't find the term retirement in the Bible.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist,
It
right?
exists. It's not there.
And so it's this idea of like, how many more people can we serve? And I say this all the time. I think that we're just getting started. I'm really frustrated that we're not further along than we are today, because I know where we can be. And it's kind of like that idea of seeing like the future and going, well, we just got to get there faster. And so, and that's one of the reasons I think whenever I started talking to Patrick and just talking about like how much faster could we get, because we couldn't get as far as we want to go without you guys. And then I come to y'all's events. Like one of the reasons I get so fired up to come to y'all's events and other events like that is because, man, that's the future. And like, how do we get them to believe and have them here one day as partners? And so I'm so excited. I'm so honored to be y'all's partner. I love y'all's story for so many reasons. And it's not about the success you've had, because y'all have had enormous success. I mean, you guys, your business sells tens of millions of dollars. You guys have been, I know in our video, your home now is not 2 bedrooms. You have more than 1 bathroom. It's nice.
You know what is crazy? My family for the baby's baptism.
23 people stay in that home.
23 people stay at our home.
Yeah, probably.
And they spread out. They had a space.
Isn't that awesome, though?
It's just
Isn't that
crazy.
awesome? You're just like, I mean.
We flew all of them to spend time with us, and just to think.
Praise the Lord for that opportunity. And that's so cool when you get to do things like that for other people that you love, and just be like, I want to bless you like this, and then get to share in that with people. That's one of the reasons I love people to come here and see what we're building here at Integrity, and like walk people around and talk about the art and all the different things. You guys have heard me do this, like, because it's like, man, I want to share in this, like what we're building, just like you and your home.
It's so special, the story that you say about the home, because we got the home and they come, right? The nieces, the nephews.
Yeah.
And the niece, the younger niece, okay, out of everybody, she's what? How old is Alejandra? She's like
8, 9.
8, 9 years old, okay? She goes to her mom. Her parents are lawyers in El Salvador.
That's my younger sister.
The younger
one
sister.
that's a lawyer.
So she comes in and says, hey, Mom, because the auntie, my sister-in-law tell her, right? Hey, Mom, what does Auntie Ceci does for a living? And the mom, go and ask her. And they go and ask her, Auntie Ceci, what do you got? And Ceci said, we sell insurance. We sell life insurance. And she's like, Mom, can we do that too?
Why don't you do life insurance too, Mom? Why don't you sell life insurance too? But you know what is crazy? My sister said, the interesting part of the story is, she says, why don't you do it? And what I love about is that we said for so long with Rodolfo. I remember we used to meet with Patrick, and Patrick will say, we're going to change the industry. We're going to change the life insurance industry. We're going to make you a hero in the life insurance industry. So other people want to be life insurance agents. I didn't grow up thinking I want to be a life insurance agent. But nobody did. No, nobody does. But my niece, that is 8 years old, she's thinking, I want to be a life insurance agent.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Wow, you're changing the whole perspective of the industry. I mean, that is so cool.
And that's because of people like you. People like Patrick. Because people like you, Brian,
partnership with integrity.
It's amazing what you have done. Like, we're immigrants from El Salvador, but because of people like you with vision, with people like Patrick and David that are introducing to this business, we're doing this. And we're excited, we're loving the partnership. And I believe the future looks bright.
It does. It looks so bright. I was just thinking about something. So I got to stand up. I've never done this at a podcast. Hold on. Where was it? So you gave me this gift, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but it means something to me in a lot of ways. So I love cufflinks. My granddad gave me, I got his cufflinks after he died. And there's this one pair, and you commented on them, that I was wearing the last time we were together. And they're one of my most prized possessions. And honestly, they're probably inexpensive cufflinks that he bought in the 60s or something, but they're just something I have from him. And I think about him. Every time I put them on, I think about Nandad on that side. And I was thinking last time I was wearing them, they're kind of chipping off because they're not real. It's like they're chipping off. And this morning, I'm going to an event this weekend, and I was thinking, I need to get some new cufflinks because I'm scared to wear his cufflinks. I just don't want anything to happen to him. When we got together today, you gave me these cufflinks, which are, they're just so kind. But it's interesting if you look at these. It's this beginning and it's kind of this loop. We really haven't talked about this, but it's kind of like this idea of where you began and where you're going, right? And if you kind of think about that. And that was the first thing when I saw these, I was like, man, it's like where you began and where you're going. And with partners like you and with the humble beginnings we all had, it's part of our story. And when we tell that story, we encourage others, inspire people like your niece. And then it's about where we're going. And together, there's no limit to where we can go. So thank you guys for joining us as partners.
Thank you so much.
We love you guys so much. And I hope you're as inspired as I am for this opportunity to tell more people about this industry that we're in, to serve more people and think about where we all began. And you think about where we all can go together. And with great partners like the Vargases, I believe that there's no limit to what we can achieve, and we're just getting started. So thank you guys for joining today. I hope you're as inspired as I am, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. God bless you all and have a great week. Take care.